My name is Troone. I'm 24 years old. I started coming to Trinity when I was in high school in 11th grade and have been a part of Trinity since then.
My name is Andrew Barnett. My wife Tori and I live in Darien. We've got 3 young kids and we've been attending the Darien service since it launched.
My name's Karen and I've been attending Trinity for about 2 years. A few years ago my husband passed away very unexpectedly. I was put in this position where my finances changed a lot. I had to start making the decision about how much we were giving, how to give. It was really sporadic, like I would give and then make up money later. The Bible talks about giving the first fruits of our labor. And so I made the decision with the Lord to give at the beginning of the month and to give regularly every single month.
I started my journey of generosity and tithing started when the Beacon Project launched a few years ago, and the church launched a capital campaign to raise money as we were about to launch Darien and moving into a new ministry center. And so that was really a catalyst for me to start giving and wanting to be part of what God was doing.
We've been giving in the church for a long time. I think a couple years ago it really changed for us though, in terms of the Lord putting it on our heart that we could no longer put the giving piece as sort of a separate category in our walk. It really had to be core to what we were trying to do as followers of Christ.
I think what was catalytic in me starting to give was seeing people around me giving who were in similar phases of life and who were also actively praying for and looking and asking God to come in and work in our church and in our community as well. And so seeing other stories of generosity was really inspiring to me of like, oh, I want to be part of this as well, and I want to be investing in this as well.
The day before my house was to close, the entire sale fell through. Put the house back on the market, it sold again. First week, a huge tree had fallen on the top of the house. So the second buyer pulled out. And it was just literally months of that, but I had made that decision to give regularly with the Lord in the light. And I was like, okay, don't doubt in the darkness what God led me to in the light. So I just continued by faith to keep giving. And I made it all the way through all of 2018. We did this. So now I'm going to trust you to bump it up a little bit.
We oftentimes hear teachings on generosity, but this one was struck me in particular. It talked about sacrificial giving, and if you weren't giving to the point where it hurt, it likely wasn't the type of giving that Jesus calls us to. And so that really stuck with me. We don't do it perfectly. It's still a struggle, we're still human. Tori and I talked through it and it's still a challenge, but making it sacrificial was sort of this aha moment for me.
By giving, it created space for God to move in my life. I know that God is my provider and God is the one who is giving me the resources that I have in my hand right now anyway. When I actually open my hands and say, okay, God, this is your bank account, this is your money, these are your dollars, not mine. And I lay that before Him and I give out of that. I'm actively trusting God with the money that I have, and then I get to see Him come in and do something extraordinary in my life.
I was holding on so tight to sort of that process of income, expenses, then give. Pray about it, ask the Lord for His wisdom and His guidance around what giving looks like for you. Prayer is the first place that we went to and He showed up.
I think the biggest growth area for me is just trusting Him. It is such a tangible thing to trust God with your finances. It's a tangible thing, and it's such a visible reminder of a faithful God who provides for us. One of His names is Jehovah Jireh, the God who provides, and I've seen it. It makes me cry.